Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Choosing Beggar Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe and click on notifications so you don't miss out on the fun. In our first story, a choosing beggar who likes to torture the waiting staff by ordering the most expensive thing on the menu and then sending it back. Let's jump right in. I worked as a waitress for a couple of years. Normally, diners were always opening and closing around the area I lived. I've encountered countless choosing beggars, from those trying to get free meals to anything being wrong with their food that was never in my control, or that was only a problem if you had certain tastes, like they didn't like the type of cheese on the burgers, too much, too little of salt on the food, small things. I've encountered two of the worst choosing beggars this way. One was actually a sweet old man who always brought his wife, who has dementia, in with him. He's very OCD though, and normally ate the same thing every day. He had to have exact amounts as well, so his ticket was always longer than most because I had to write down his things. I'll always laugh about the time he wanted 3 yams with his hamburger steak and mashed potatoes with no gravy. The cook always just took a spoonful of yams and put them on normal customers' plate, so he accidentally got 1 extra yam. His normal smile just kind of faltered as he handed me back the plate, asking me to redo it. When I asked why, his reply was, "I only wanted 3 yams." I asked if one of the yams could be removed by the cook, to which he replied, "No, I just want a new plate. The same as this one, but only 2 yams." He wasn't the worst to deal with, as he was normally a laid-back guy, but his behavior was odd. He also came around the same time every day and left at the same time, except church days where he'd come in a little later. Sat in the exact same spot, and everyone in the diner knew this. If someone who was a regular and knew him was sitting in his spot when they came in, they'd move without him even asking. If someone was sitting in his spot that he didn't know, he'd sit somewhere else and just give them the stink eye the entire time. I still laugh about that yam thing. The second woman, however, was twice as annoying, and I didn't enjoy her company at all. I only dealt with her once when I started working for this diner, same one as the yam man. She came in with a group of people. I could only guess she was one of the younger girl's mother, who was there with their boyfriends. She asked me for a sweet tea, which I got. As I'm trying to take orders after getting these 5 drinks, she remarks with this, "Oh, can I get a new drink?" "Is there something wrong with your tea, miss?" At first, I was afraid I got her the wrong one, as we had both unsweet and sweet tea. The pitchers had different color tops, but could easily get mixed up in between uses and cleaning them out when making a new batch. "Oh, no. I just remembered I don't like sweet tea." I was baffled by this statement. How do you forget you don't like something? They were in the back room, so when I was waiting on them, I couldn't see the area with the booths. If I spent too much time on them, I could miss a new customer coming in and have them wait longer than needed. I like to meet my customers as they sit, so I can go ahead and get their drinks ready while they browse the menu. I told her I would get her a new drink after taking their order, to which she replied, she wanted it now. Her throat was so dry. I complied, making sure I didn't have customers waiting. As I went back to the front to get her a Sprite, I noticed one of my co-workers, who I'll call Red, because she was famous for her red curly hair, just shaking her head. I couldn't tell if I made a mistake, as I just started working here at the time and was very nervous about screwing up. I get the drink, I give it to the woman's mother, maybe, and proceed to start taking orders. It was standard stuff, cheeseburgers, today's special, but the older woman replied, "I want this." I lean over to see what she's pointing at and find that it's a sirloin sandwich, if I remember correctly. This has been about 4 years ago. My heart sinks a bit. "I'm sorry," I tell her, "but that has to be made fresh. We don't get a lot of orders for those. It'll take a while to cook the meat and prepare it." "I'm okay with that." She smiled, closing the menu and handing it back to me. She was not okay with that. every time I went to the back to check on them and refill drinks, she kept asking where her meal was, and this before any of the other food had been delivered. Once everyone started getting their food, she just sat there bristling. I could see her getting angry, but what could I do? She agreed to wait, and I couldn't make the meat cook faster unless she wanted it burnt. They had to cook it, shred it, mix it in with the sauce. It was a long process. Finally, her food is done. By the time she got it, everyone is done eating, so I start clearing plates. I take some, come back to get the rest, and she grabs my arm. That bothered me a bit. You should never touch your waiting staff. I don't know how everyone else feels about that, and if it was a customer I was used to seeing, it would be fine. But this woman was a total stranger, and the way she did it just kind of stepped over the line for me. "I don't like this sandwich," she replied. "I'm sorry?" I was a bit taken aback. People didn't order it because of two reasons. It takes so long to cook, and it's the most expensive thing on the menu. This was about a $17 sandwich. "I don't like it," she repeats herself. "Just go ahead and take my plate. Could you put in an order for a hamburger instead?" "Sure, I can do that." And then came the kicker. "I'm also not paying for this. I didn't eat it, so I shouldn't have to pay." I kind of stood there, my mouth probably hanging open. Her logic was insane. Yes, I had been to places where I ordered food that didn't taste good either, but I never refused to pay. Just because I didn't eat it doesn't mean it doesn't waste their supplies, and it took time out of the cook's day to stand there and make this thing. She gave me a funny look, as if to say, "Is that a problem?" Again, I was new, and I didn't want her to pull a Karen by speaking to my boss, whose office was in the diner. At this point, I noticed the two younger women smirking towards me, like this was fun for them to watch. I just told her I would speak with someone about it. I was barely out of the back room before Red grabbed my shoulder. "Don't go back there anymore," she scowled. "They did this last time too. They're not getting any more refills, and they can sit there with those dirty dishes." Apparently, she did the same thing with her sweet tea last time and the same sandwich, ordering the most expensive stuff and then claiming she didn't like them or she forgot she didn't like them. I brought her a hamburger and didn't go back there anymore. They sat there for probably another 30 minutes before they went to leave. I watched as they paid for their meals, but they didn't do it in a normal manner. Both guys paid for the meals, splitting them, I guess. Both took out their wallets and instead of pulling out what they needed, pulled out huge stacks of what looked like 20s, flipping through them slowly before handing the money over. The girls still smirking while the mother just looked a little annoyed, wanting to leave. Back at the table, after clearing the dishes, I found that they didn't leave a tip. I was a little angry. I tried telling myself it was because I didn't come to the back for 30 minutes to check on them, but before that, I was having to run back and forth between these 5 people. They never asked for something altogether. They'd ask for what they needed one by one. Waitressing. This is the most annoying thing because then I spend more time at one table and other tables are left waiting on me longer. Especially when a lot of the time they wanted the same thing as the person that asked before, like refills on tea or more napkins. If they were at the front, this couldn't be as bad, but like I said, they were in the back room, so there was also the constant running back and forth. I don't think much if someone doesn't leave a tip. I've had people dig through their bags just to get enough change to leave something. Someone not leaving a tip might not be because they're rude, but maybe they didn't have enough to leave or needed the money for something else. I finally realized that was the reason they flashed their cash when leaving. They wanted me to know. They could have easily left about a $2 tip, but purposely chose not to. This has been John from Slash Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then please hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like and share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.